Okay, so to get things rolling, I clicked on new, and then it goes to the default, which is the last one that I did, which is 11 inches wide. It's 24 inches height, and it's 1 inch, 1.0 thick. So we're good to go on that. I'm going to click on the import vectors icon up there, and then I'm going to work my way to the file itself. So I've got a file up here. I'm going to pull that in, and hopefully everything shows up. Here's all my settings, and I don't know how I got there. Over time, it was just trial and error, so you can hit pause, take a peek at those if you'd like. I'm going to say OK. It always comes in off center, not quite sure why, but I fix it by going to this one right here, Align Selected Objects, and then I go to this one here, which is in the center. It centered it just now. Then I say close. And then I'm going to click somewhere else because everything is selected right now, including the outer perimeter. I'm just going to click out here. There we go. So the place to start, I guess there's different places to start, but I'm going to start off with these three right here. And I'm going to hit Control or hold Control and select those. Oh, excuse me, it's Shift. It's different than the SketchUp. Okay, so I've got those selected. You can see the little dotteds, and those are the full throughs for the drill press. So I'm going to select on Pocket Toolpath, and then start depth is 0, and I want those to go full through, so it's 1.00 up here. And then the number of passes, it wants to default to 8. I'm going to let it go ahead and do that because some of these might be oak that I'm going to run this through. This one's pine on the first one, but I'm going to run through some oak. So this would be drill press 3/8 inch, I think they are, at 1.00. That's just the method that I use to keep some sense out of things, calculate. And then I don't run a test right away, I just wait until later. Now when you go back, it goes back to that, so I'm going to go up to zoom, and just to get a more accurate picture of things, I'm going to do that. Now I've got something showing up right here, and I don't know what that is. It's not intended to be there, it's just something that got left over on the file. So I'm going to go back to SketchUp and fix it. Okay, so I went back to SketchUp and fixed it, by the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of those. I'm going to hold Shift and select all of those. So everything, those are all selected so far. I'm going to hold the Shift, select all of those from left to right, Shift, select all of those from left to right. So they're all selected. Now they've got that little crosshairs in the middle. Eventually I'll take that out of there. I just, because I'm in a prototyping mode right now, I want to do that. And then these I'm not going to want full through, but I'm going to use this. And so I'm going to go to, instead of 1.0, I'm going to go to let's go to 0.625. So that'd be a 5/8 inch depth. It wants to set it up for 5 passes. I'm good with that. And then I'm going to give it the name of, these are the guides. Let's see, what are they? They're the clamp guide pegs at 0.625. Calculate. And it's warning me that there's some open vectors, and that's because of those little tiny crosshairs in the middle, and that's all it is. So I'm going to let it go for now, and again, once I know that this thing works okay, then I'll eventually delete those so I don't have to get this warning anymore. So I'm going to say OK, and you can see that it's got all those selected, or it should. Kind of looks like it. Yep, it does. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the top again and take the next group. So I've got all of these selected, all of these selected. I already did those guys there, so I'm just going to click on somewhere else, and then so I don't have stuff showing up right now, I'm going to unclick that. Now what I can do is actually zoom in. What I'll do is I'll zoom in on these guys here. Yeah, let's zoom in on those. Okay, so then on this guy and this guy, these are for the Bessie clamps, that goofy shape. But those I do not want to have the router do everything all the way through the center, so I'm just going to use this one here, which is the profile toolpath. And I want it to go down full through, which is 1.0. And it wants to make 10 passes. Wow, I'm okay with that. I can go to 9. It is a lot, and it's making a pretty. It's taking all 1/4 inch of that, but I'm also going to use this one right here, the machine vectors. I'm going to have tabs, so I'm going to go inside on that, and so I'm going to run on the inside. We'll see that later as it runs, but I want to add the tabs to it right here, otherwise we would have that big chunk fall out while we're running it. Click on Edit Tabs, and it wants to put in 2. It's going to default to that, and I'm finding that if I just go and put 1 here, and then if I put 1 here, and I click on this one, now I have 3 tabs. I have this one, and that one, and that pretty well holds it in place. I haven't had too much issue with that. So both of those are the same. Go back to here, say close. This one you got to scroll down a little bit for, and under the name of the profile would be, let's call this the Bessie clamp, and that's at, this is tabbed at 1.00, and calculate. So it's showing that shape, and again we're going to see all those run in a little while. And then this is there's 2 parts to this. There's going to be a mortise, and then there's going to be the centerpiece. So I'm going to click on the center. Let's go ahead and do the mortise first, and then I have close. I'm going to a pocket toolpath. This one I want to be 3/8, so I'm going to type in 0.375. Oops, gotta watch out, you can't have 2 dots in there. It doesn't like that. It's going to run it in 3 passes, which is fine. And then this would be the tenon, or threaded tenon mortise. Let's call it a 5-hole. 5-hole tenon mortise at 0.375. Calculate. Then I'd have the centerpiece, and again there's all those little arrows in there, so to hide those or put those away, I'm just going to unclick that. Okay, now I can click on that hole in the middle. That one I want to go full through, and rather than having to drill it myself, I'm just going to let the CNC do it. But it can start at 0.375 because the other part's already been gouged out in that mortise, and then I want it to go another 0.625. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Okay, that's 1 inch total. It's going to go through. Passes. I'll go with 5. What the heck? Again, this could be oak at some point if this all works out. And then this would be hole in mortise start 0.375, and then I just go plus 0.625. And these are just ways to remind yourself of what's going to happen there. Okay, so I think I got everything. If I scroll down here, it looks like based on what I recall, I got it all. So now I can go to my 3D view, and I see the whole thing. Click close on that. Now I'm going to click that so it basically clicks everything just to make sure I don't have anything already out there. I unclicked it, and then I'm going to click on this one here, which is preview toolpath. That puts it in that mode, and when it previews it, it's going to preview all of that stuff. So I'm going to click on preview, and there it goes. So it made the 3 holes for that drill press, 3 holes for this drill press, the pegs that are going to be for helping to keep the clamps from sliding to the side, and then I have a mortise on that right there. So it kind of looks to me like I've got everything, and so you need to, I'll just click on reset. I clicked on that again, so it clicks everything. Say close to this. I'm going to go up to the little icon here to save the toolpath, and then I'm going to click on save toolpath. Again, I'm making sure that all of these are checked. Save the toolpath, and then give it a name. I'm going to call this MikroBench top June 11, and then 01. Hopefully I don't have a 02 on this, because this would be the real thing. And it's going to create a tap file, and then I'm going to actually save the file itself at the CRV or whatever they call it, at CRV, right? And then I can call it micro, and it already has a name down there kind of similar, so I'll just stick with that, get rid of the TAP, and then it'll save that for as a CRV. So I'm all set to go, and what's going to happen is, theoretically, if I go, when I go into the other room, I'm going to save this on a drive, and when I do this, I'm going to do I'm going to reset the preview, and I'm going to preview the toolpath, but I'm going to slow it down just a bit, and it's going to do all of this. It's going to create the tabs. I'm looking to make sure that those tabs were created, and yes, they were. You can see the little knobby there, and there. And then it's going to make the mortise in 3 passes. Again, this machine is doing this for us, and we're all set to go. So there we go.